All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today we're unpacking a really fascinating, highly targeted pitch aimed at a very specific group of people, homeowners trying to sell their properties completely outside the traditional real estate market. We're going to be looking at a document from Kevin Young SR of Nationwide Real Estate Acquisitions LLC, and it proposes a totally alternative route for those looking to bypass the standard listing and selling headache.
So, let me ask you this. Are you just completely exhausted by the agonizingly slow process of waiting for a buyer who can actually secure bank financing today? I mean, if you've ever tried to sell a house on your own, you know exactly how painful that waiting game can be. You plant the sign in the yard, you list it online, and then crickets. You wait for someone who can walk into a bank and get approved. It's a massive bottleneck that halts countless sales.
Section 1. The FSBO frustration and the hidden costs of waiting. Look, selling a home independently, it sounds fantastic in theory, right? You save on agent commissions, you call the shots. But let's get real about the hidden costs here. Holding onto that property is absolutely not free. Every single day you sit around waiting for a buyer, you are actively paying property taxes, you're maintaining insurance. Add in general maintenance, routine upkeep, and a whole host of other expenses. These costs compound every single day that house sits unsold. It literally eats away at your profit margin.
Moving on to Section 2, Temporary Seller Financing Explained, a proposed alternative.
So what is Kevin Young Sr.'s proposed solution to stop this financial bleeding? Well, it's a method called temporary seller financing. The whole goal here is to sell free and clear properties fast and for the absolute full asking price. How? By bringing in a buyer who's sitting on a massive down payment. It's a mechanism designed from the ground up to just completely bypass traditional bank delays.
This perfectly illustrates the stark contrast between two totally different game plans. On the traditional side, you're waiting endlessly for a buyer's bank to approve financing, which almost always results in exhausting haggling over the final number. But the fast alternative? It relies on temporary seller financing, securing a buyer with a massive down payment right out of the gate, allowing the seller to lock in their full asking price without all the back-and-forth nonsense.
Section 3. Who actually qualifies? Let's look at the strict criteria.
Now here is where the pitch gets incredibly narrow. This strategy is absolutely not for everyone. According to the source, the absolute, non-negotiable pillar of this entire proposition is that the home must be owned completely free and clear, zero mortgage. If you owe a bank even a single dollar on the property, this just doesn't apply to you. It relies entirely on having full, unencumbered equity.
Beyond that strict mortgage-free requirement, who else is this for? Well, it targets for sale by owner or FSBO sellers specifically. It caters to folks who have properties listed on digital platforms like Zillow or Redfin. And actually, what's super interesting here is that the timeline of your listing doesn't even seem to matter. The text explicitly states that whether you have an older, stagnant listing that's been sitting there forever, or you literally just posted your free and clear home for sale a few minutes ago, this pitch claims it can get sold quickly and for a profit.
Section 4. Timelines and financial promises. Crunching the numbers.
45. That's a huge number for this pitch. It's the absolute maximum number of days this program aims to get a new or old posting sold. When you stack 45 days or less up against the agonizing months it can sometimes take to find a traditional buyer and close a bank-financed loan, it's pretty obvious why this timeline is front and center.
Then we have the number 12. This represents the absolute maximum number of years this temporary seller finance transaction will actually last. Remember, the key word here is temporary. You are not financing this forever. The structure is built to have a definitive end date, capped at 12 years or less, where the whole transaction fully concludes.
So let's trace exactly how a stagnant Zillow listing transforms into a done deal using these steps. Step 1. The specialist brings in a buyer equipped with a big down payment. Step 2. Because of this massive initial cash injection and the way the financing is structured, you, the seller, secure your full asking price. Step 3. You finalize the structured transaction knowing for a fact it's built to fully conclude in 12 years or less. Boom, boom, boom. It's presented as a very streamlined, step-by-step alternative.
Section 5. Disclaimers and next steps. Always read the fine print.
Now, because we are impartially analyzing this business pitch, we've got to look closely at the legal boundaries established by the source. Kevin Young Sr. makes a very crucial disclaimer in the text, stating, quote, "I am not a real estate agent, real estate broker, lawyer, accountant, nor am I rendering any tax or legal advice." So while he facilitates the structure, anyone taking this route needs to know they are solely responsible for getting independent counsel. Definitely something to keep in mind.
The document then wraps up with a direct call to action. For viewers who actually meet that super strict free and clear criteria, are completely tired of the traditional market, and wish to respond to this specific pitch, the contact number provided straight from the source material is 913-583-2148.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Are you ready to rethink how you sell your free and clear property? It really boils down to this. You have to weigh the ongoing daily costs of waiting around for a traditional bank-financed buyer against this alternative, non-traditional financing approach. It's a completely fascinating corner of the real estate market, built entirely around speed, hyper-specific property criteria, and structured terms. Thanks so much for joining me to unpack this explainer, and keep learning.